Hi everyone, my name is Josie Lam and I'm going to be presenting on putting a stop to water pollution. So what is water pollution? Water pollution is defined as the presence in or introduction into the environment of a substance or thing that has harmful or poisonous effects. There are three types of water pollution. Air, which includes smog, CFCs, and greenhouse gases. Land, which is essentially just trash on our earth. And last is water, which includes chemicals, oil spills caused by leaky pipelines, shipwrecks, and explosions at sea. The issue. Water pollution causes shortages on safe drinking water in very low-income countries. More than a quarter of the world's population, which is about 2.1 billion people, lack access to clean drinking water. Some of these countries that I'll be talking about today include Nepal, Nigeria, Ethiopia, and Uganda. The countries. Nepal. The lack of proper sanitation facilities in Nepal lends itself to 30% of the population practicing open defecation. For some that don't know, this means whatever duties we would do in the restroom, they would do on the ground and in open waters. Their primary water sources are unsafe to drink, though it is essential to drink sufficient amounts of water in Nepal in order to avoid the risk of dehydration. Nigeria. Nigeria is one of the fastest improving countries when it comes to water quality, but 15% of people still drink from unimproved water sources. High levels of toxic chemicals have been reported in Nigeria's water sources. Ethiopia. There is a significant 43-point gap between safely managed water services in rural and urban areas in Ethiopia, resulting in about 62 million Ethiopians lacking access to safe water. Uganda. About 40% of Uganda's population must travel 30 minutes in order to access safe drinking water. Surface water, which is water from lakes, ponds, streams, etc., account for 99% of Uganda's public water supply. The side effects. Water pollution is the main cause of several diseases such as typhoid, dysentery, hepatitis A, and cholera. The World Health Organization estimates that 3.575 million people die from water-related diseases a year. To add, some countries rely on shipments of plastic water bottles for clean, safe drinking water. This leads to an excess of plastic. This plastic also ends up in our oceans, causing even further water pollution. The root cause. We as humans are the main cause of water pollution. There are many ways to trigger this issue. First is agricultural pollution, which is the top source of contamination in our rivers and streams. The agricultural sector is the biggest consumer of global freshwater resources, using about 70% of the Earth's surface water supplies. Every time it rains, fertilizers, pesticides, and animal waste from farms and livestock operations wash bacteria and viruses into our waterways, which causes a nutrient pollution. Nutrient pollution is the #1 threat to water quality worldwide. Next is sewage and wastewater, which is used water from our sinks, showers, and sewage. More than 80% of the world's wastewater flows back into the environment without being treated or reused. In least developed countries, the figure tops 95%. Just our nation alone releases more than 850 billion gallons of untreated wastewater each year. Last is oil spills. Though the news mostly talks about the big oil spills in the ocean, consumers actually account for the vast majority of oil spills in our seas. Nearly half of the estimated 1 million tons of oil that makes its way into marine environments each year comes from not tanker spills, but from land-based sources such as factories, farms, and cities. The gasoline and oil that drips from millions of cars and trucks every day also makes its way into our seas. So you may ask, why is this essential to global citizenship? Though we may not see water pollution as a great issue because safe drinking water is at somewhat easy access for us, we must consider the other countries that face this problem. This is because global citizens must have respect for all countries. Global citizens are also aware of the wider world and understand its issues, water pollution being one of the biggest. Global citizens also take active role in their community. Though water pollution seems like a large issue, we should do whatever we can to bring attention to it and diffuse the problem. We must minimize harm to our planet and do whatever we can to make it a better place. The solution. Water is extremely vulnerable to pollution, which is why we must be extra careful in order to reduce this likelihood. Like all big changes, they start small. Everything we do adds up. There are many simple steps we can take in order to reduce water pollution. You may not even be aware of these things that you can do. So, the simple ways to reduce water pollution. 1. Do not pour fat from cooking or any type of fat, oil, or grease down the sink. 2. Do not dispose of household chemicals or cleaning agents down the sink or toilet. 3. Do not flush pills, liquid or powder medications, or drugs down the toilet. 4. Avoid using the toilet as a trash can. Most tissues, wrappers, dust cloths, and paper goods should be properly discarded in a wastebasket. 5. Avoid using garbage disposal. We should keep solid waste solid. We can also make a compost pile from vegetable scraps so the nutrients go back into our environment. And lastly, 6. Use the minimum amount of detergent and or bleach when you are washing clothes or dishes. These steps attack sewage and wastewater as one of the root causes of water pollution. Some of us may be making these mistakes without even knowing the detrimental effects of it. The mindset. We must keep a strong mindset when it comes to diffusing the problem of water pollution. Always ask yourself, would you swim in the things you're disposing of in the sink or sewer? These steps don't sound like much, but change starts with one person, and every person contributing to this makes a difference. As we adjust to changing our everyday habits, we can put a stop to water pollution little by little.